Good afternoon and welcome to another 30 minutes with us here at Higher Military. It is so lovely to have you join us today. Welcome. If you've not been with us here before, I'm Lucy, this is Amber, and we are going to talk all things SkillBridge, permanent job, and then questions and things we've been discussing in our office this week when it comes to the job search and all recruitment elements post-active duty. It's great to have you. If you are new, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We would love to know who is in the audience today. So if you are here and you feel brave enough, please drop your name in the comments. Maybe where you're from. Have your kids gone back to school yet? If you have children, because thankfully for me and Amber, both of ours have right now. So we have done the summer from working from home with children around and they're back. But also, are you looking for a permanent role? Are you looking for a SkillBridge internship? Are you having a tricky time right now? Do you have a question for us? If you can say yes to any of those things and you want to ask us anything at all, please do throw that question or that comment in the comments below. We really do want to talk to you. Amber and I talk to each other all day, every day, so it would be nice to have some other people part of our conversation. HigherMilitary.us, that is where all of our internships, all of our permanent roles, and all of our resources are kept. As we are talking today, we do refer back to that. We refer to different bits and pieces. So if you want to find any of that collateral, that is where we host it. But Amber, how are you doing this afternoon? What's going on?
I'm great. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to chat. I'm excited to get some questions from our viewers and share some of our roles.
Me too. So normally and typically we kick this event off with just a topic of conversation that has been on our minds that we have been discussing this week. Normally it's something that's happened or a circumstance or a situation where it's really sparked an office-wide conversation. So Amber, I'm going to hit back to you right now and say, hey, what are we talking about today?
I think today we're going to talk about, I know we've talked about this topic in the past, but we kind of want to dive a little deeper into it when we're talking about soft skills, the interview process, when you're, first meeting a recruiter for the first time, or you're moving on to the interview phase, just kind of how important those interview techniques that you have are during the process, whether it's the recruiter or it's the hiring manager. And it's really important to do your due diligence for yourself and make sure that you're prepared for that interview before you actually show up. And what I mean by that is, I was a theater kid, so, they always told us practice in front of the mirror, record yourself if you can. And honestly, that is the best way to see how you come across. You want to make sure that you're coming across approachable, your demeanor is great, you don't have too many hand gestures, definitely don't curse. I know we all come from the military. I retired last year for 21 years, and I know that it's part of the military life, and like we have a little gruff edge on us, and it's required because we take orders, right? And there's a structure. But when you're transitioning to the civilian world, it is very different. That your skills in terms of how you present yourself and the way you speak is really important to employers, especially if you're in a customer or client facing role, and especially if you're a manager too. Managing people, it is very important that you have, the right demeanor for that position. I know we were going to add some more to it, Lucy. Any thoughts from you on this? Because I know you've been in the recruitment for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got lots of thoughts. Some of them definitely are not for a LinkedIn Live. But before I go into those, hey, Kenneth, Alex, Monica, Marcy, it's so lovely to have you guys with us today. So yes, I have always been in corporate talent acquisition and recruitment. I do not come from the military world. I'm an active duty military spouse. So I've lived it, but I have not worked it. And there is a reason why we are sharing this today, because often we have been in a situation where people have not utilized their soft skills, have spoken to us in a way that we have, that's slightly a little bit more than rough around the edge. That's direct, that's sharp, that's being a straight shooter. But this is not the military anymore. And I really don't like saying that, but it's a very different world with very different expectations, a different etiquette, a different way of communicating. And I say that because I copied my husband into an email a couple of days ago, and he said, you know, you weren't direct at all. You talked around the houses. I was like, this is corporate America. This is how we speak. We're not in the military saying jump, and then the respondent or the recipient says how high. There is a level of, you know, blanketing and pillowing that we put around our language to soften. And that's what we're talking about today, softening the soft skills. Because we've had a couple of conversations this week with people who are transitioning from the military, and we've been like, ooh. And the thing is, if they are talking to us like this as recruiters, we are ultimately, when we're positioning candidates to our clients, we're essentially greenlighting those candidates. We are saying to our partners in corporate America, those companies, hey, we've met with Amber. She's phenomenal. She's got the experience that you're looking for. She's got the personality, the culture add that you're looking for as well. And when somebody goes into an interview and we have positioned them there, we have referred them, and they don't necessarily conduct themselves in a manner that is conducive to corporate America, it kind of reflects on us, which is why we're having this conversation. Not because we want to speak badly of anybody, not because we want to, you know, talk about them behind their backs, but we want to shine a light on this because this is not an issue that's just come up this week. We see this every week. It's just so happened that we've seen it quite a lot this week.
Exactly. And I would also say it's really important to do your research on who you're interviewing with, because I can say, and I know Lucy has experienced it too, there are a lot of assumptions sometimes that candidates make in the interview process that we don't know what they do in the military, or we don't understand the military process, or we don't understand what they're going through in terms of moving or things like that. And we absolutely do. You know, Lucy's moved a million times. She's been a spouse, you know, all this time. I was in the military. I also was a spouse. And so we do understand. We understand very well. And so you never know when we send you to those clients that we have, those hiring managers may be veterans too. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Do your research, know who it is you're interviewing with. Because that's important, and it builds relationships. And at the end of the day, relationships matter, whether you need someone today or you need them a month from now or 2 years from now. I'm telling you, the networking and relationships really can go a long way for you. And so I cherish every connection that I make with people, because I know I will help them if they ever need it. I know if I need to reach out to them, they'll help me. Like, it is phenomenal. And we've seen it here recently this week on LinkedIn, where we have connections who, you know, lost their jobs and were searching for work. And it was their connected network on LinkedIn, their relationships they've had with people in the past in terms of, you know, interviewing or helping them out, that made the difference and got them a new job. So all of it matters. It really, really does.
And I think you make a really good point about doing your research ahead of time. If anybody here was meeting me for the first time and went on my LinkedIn profile, you would see that I am very explicit about the fact that I am a military spouse. If you dig deeper, you would probably be able to find there that I am an Air Force military spouse. The amount of people who I meet with who talk to me as if I've got no knowledge of the military whatsoever. And yes, I understand. I have a different accent. It doesn't, you know, I don't come from the US originally, but this is my world. This is my professional world. This is my personal world. And so I have to give grace and space and assume that they're not intending to be patronizing or condescending. But I'm telling you right now, that is how it comes across. And I'm a buffer zone. I don't hold the keys to the job. I just hold the keys to open the door to get to the job. So if you spoke to me like that and I was actually a hiring manager and you hadn't taken the time to research me or to speak to me in a gracious manner or a corporate manner, you know, that definitely would be a huge turnoff to me. And I think Amber the same. I'm not just saying to me, but it's about doing your homework. It's about doing your research. It's about knowing who you're speaking to and never making any assumptions, because like Amber said, a lot of the organizations and a lot of the people that we work with are veterans, but you wouldn't know that unless you looked at their LinkedIn profiles or they offered that information themselves, which often they don't do. So there was, we've had lots of conversations this week with people who, and I think another thing that we wanted to say was, when you are meeting with recruiters, when you are meeting with hiring managers, be very mindful of the length of your answers, of how much you speak, because we meet with you to gain as much information out of you as we possibly can, but we have an agenda. We have questions that we need to ask in order to maximize the time and to get the information from you that we need to be able to make a very credible application on your behalf. When you send us your resume, we will meet with you, we will interview you, we find out all of that detail that isn't on your resume. And that is our value add when it comes to corporate America. We don't just send over a 2D version, not just the resume, we create a 3D application. We talk about you. And on a couple of occasions this week, I've had people who have not let me get a word in edgeways, or like when I've said to them, like, do you have this experience? Do you have this experience? No, but I'm a fast learner. I can put my hand to anything, which I get because everybody, hopefully, in the military has been a fast learner at any given point in time. But this isn't the military anymore. This is corporate America, where if you don't have the experience on your resume, we can't just write fast learner and that's going to give you the check and that's going to get you through to interview. So there are reasons why we ask this information, and our shoulders tend to sag and our heart tends to sink a little when we get responses like that. And Amber was saying earlier, you were talking about being really credible and being honest and sharing the truth. So you take over that part.
Yeah, exactly. When you're looking at job descriptions, like Lucy said, there's going to be hard skills that they're asking for, right? However, you might come across some job ads that actually you can tell they're looking for the right person. And that's if they say, looking for somebody with a education learning mindset, somebody who's, if they really highlight those type of skills, fast learner and things like that, that's where you probably have a little wiggle room when it comes to the hard skills. But you have to know going into the interview that the answer, I'm a fast learner, is probably not going to get you the job. I would highly suggest that, when you are asked a question, hey, can you tell me what interested you about this job? Don't give them a AI generated fluffy answer. Please don't. Be very honest. What is it about the job ad that sparked your attention? Let's say you were applying for a position, which we have actually as a project manager in the energy industry. You might get the question of, well, what interested you about this role? Is it the energy industry? Is it, the job? If you have no experience in the energy industry, you can say that. That's fine. Just let them know that, you're interested because, they asked for specific soft skill sets that you found very valuable, that align with you and your passions. And yeah, just give honest answers always, because you never want to get yourself into a position where you're in a job where you really didn't have the skills to be in the first place. And then you're like drowning, because that could potentially happen.
Yeah, exactly that. That's a lot of information for a Tuesday afternoon, and we hope we've given you food for thought. But if you do have any questions at all, please do drop those in the comments. We love to be able to answer those as we're going along. So I'm going to get going on the roles that we have to share today. Our permanent jobs are open to military spouses, to transitioning service members, and to veterans alike. Amber will then go on to the SkillBridge internship element and will explain who that is open and who is eligible to take part in that program. But first and foremost, as we go along today, I've only got a couple to share. They are wave tops of what we are hosting on our website right now. Our website is hiremilitary.us. You can see that up there. And on there, you will see our permanent vacancies, our SkillBridge or CSP internships if you are Army. And then there is also a page for resources. And we have some great articles there. As an example, you will have heard the phrase target your resume or tailor your resume. And that's all well and good. But often people say to us, yeah, we've been told to do this, but I don't actually know what to do. I don't really know what it means. Well, we've broken it down for you step by step. So if that is of interest, take a look at that. Also, how to create an effective LinkedIn profile. So what do I have today? We are working with a awesome Texas-based, a central Texas-based organization called Heritage Roofing and Construction. They are working with us on both the direct hire, so that's the permanent job, and the SkillBridge internship side. And they have got multiple account manager roles all over the Central Texas area. So they are looking for veterans, military spouses. They want that work ethic. They want that hunger, that appetite, because this role involves promoting and selling roofing products and services directly to homeowners in designated territories. They're looking for mill candidates because we are the ones, you are the ones with strong interpersonal skills, results-oriented mindset, and a dedication to providing excellent customer service. Ultimately, what are you doing? That's a lot of fluff. That's a lot of words. So when the weather comes in and roofs get damaged during storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, everything else, Heritage is a roofing and construction company, and they go in and give free estimates to homeowners as to what it will cost to get the roof fixed, essentially, for the insurance purposes, and then they will go and do it themselves. So the account managers are the ones who swoop in, have those conversations with homeowners, and take the business, develop the business. Such a great company, specifically for those transferring out of the military. They have a great remuneration package. All of that is detailed on our website, and that is at hiremilitary.us. I am going to go from the second largest state in the US to the largest state in the US from which I have just moved, Alaska. Eielson Air Force Base, which is just south of Fairbanks. If you fancy a winter of cross-country skiing and snowshoeing and fires and, all sorts of ice sculpture type escapades, then Eielson Air Force Base may be the place for you to land. We are working with a government contractor there who is looking for a network engineer. Ultimately, the short version of the longer story is that they're looking for somebody who can verify the current network and that would be able to design future capabilities. It's a great role. It's got a great salary. I love the hiring manager, get on really, really well with him. Awesome chap. So if that sounds of interest to you and you want to hear more about the qualifications required, you can take a look at Hire Military US, or you can connect directly with me and I will share more about that role. Finally, on the roles that we are recruiting for, we work with one of the big four. If you're not familiar with that term, think of the large consulting companies globally. So KPMG, Deloitte, EY, PwC. We are working with one of those, and one of those holds the internal audit contract for the US Army. So we are looking for auditors, essentially somebody with military background, ideally Army, because you can speak that language, as well as corporate as well. And they've got some basic qualifications that must be checked off. So you have to have a master's degree in accounting, finance, IT, or business management, or a bachelor's in one of those, plus a certification. So CPA, CGFM, CDFM, PMP as an example. You need to have at least 4 years of federal financial management experience and 2 years of federal accounting experience. This is for the manager role. We have a senior manager role as well that needs 6 years and 4 years of those two. And you must have an interim or active secret security clearance. These roles tend to be hybrid, but out of the DC metro area. So it's normally 2 days in office, 3 days out. If that sounds like it's of interest to you, if you have that finance background from the military, I absolutely want to have a conversation with you, so get in touch. In addition, on our website right now, we are working with National Testing Network. They have nationwide opportunities for those who are interested in hearing more about police officer and firefighting careers. So if that's always been in your mind of interest, but you've not quite known how to connect, how to do this, we have the opportunity on our website. As soon as you throw your contact details in there, we make a very warm introduction to National Testing Network, and they will then send you through the process. You share your location and they take it from there. No prior experience is necessary. So if that is of interest, let us know. And finally, we are working with Horizon Strategies, and they have some great roles. maybe for the veterans among us, or maybe for military spouses. So they have VA TAP benefits advisor roles on Fort Carson in Colorado, Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado, and Fort Riley in Kansas. They also have a lead refiner representative role, which is out of Fort Knox in Kentucky. Again, as we are talking today, if you want to hear more information, drop a comment, and then we can share the URL for those roles from our website. But for more roles, head over to hiremilitary.us, and also don't forget to join our talent pool while you're over there. That is a database of everybody that we know is looking for a permanent position right now, and it's the easiest way to stay connected with us. We send out emails every 2 weeks with our newest opportunities and just some great information that we have to share. So that's it from me, Amber. Over to you. What do you got?
All right, I have SkillBridge internships. So before I get into the roles that I'm recruiting for SkillBridge, I wanted to just kind of do an overview of what SkillBridge is exactly. So SkillBridge, or Career Skills Program, if you're Army, you've heard it that way. SkillBridge is for transitioning service members who are within 180 days of separating from the military or retiring. So I get the question a lot: are spouses eligible? Are veterans who've already separated eligible? Unfortunately, for the SkillBridge program, this is specifically for those who are still in and are getting out in the next, 6 to 12 months, looking for an internship for that last 180 days. So if you are a transitioning service member, this is for you. For the veterans and spouses out there, there are programs, internship programs for you. This just isn't one of them. So keep that in mind as I'm going through these. If you have a question on whether you're eligible for SkillBridge, definitely reach out to your transition counselor or your education office if you're Air Force, and they'll be able to let you know what your time frame is. And I would also highly suggest that you talk to your command team, your leadership, about whether or not they're going to allow you to do SkillBridge, because it is command driven. You do have to get permission from your local command team in order to participate. If you have any questions about SkillBridge, feel free to reach out to me. Again, this is just a small snippet of what we have on our website for SkillBridge internships. So I will get started with the first one, which is brand new. We just took this role yesterday. We are working with Sherwin-Williams Company. They are looking for a maintenance technician in Grove City, Ohio. That's right outside of Columbus. And they are looking for a maintenance technician to come on board with their team to perform advanced electrical or electronic troubleshooting, PLC diagnosing, welding skills, correcting equipment breakdown, facility maintenance, and several other site requirements to keep the business running. So they are looking for someone who has a mechanical or electrical background. The most important experience that they need, though, is someone who does have PLC experience, because that is the one key aspect of this role that will be utilized. So if you have PLC experience and you're interested and you're trying to go back to Ohio, definitely let me know. They are very eager to bring a veteran on board for a SkillBridge internship and transition them to a full-time role. And so that is maintenance technician in Grove City, Ohio. The next role I have is for a project manager. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, we are working with Light Shift Energy in Arlington, Virginia. They are looking for a project manager for their engineering and construction team. They are looking for someone who can help them operationalize their energy storage projects. So on this team, you're going to work with the project partners. You're going to help design, build, test, and take care of cost scheduling and performance requirements within this role. The ideal person for this position does have a technical background preferred, just because of the field of renewable energy. So if you are ambitious, you are looking to be a self-starter, and you want to get into a field that is rapidly growing, this is definitely a job that I would look at. And again, this is a project manager role in Arlington, Virginia. The next role I have is very similar. It's going to be a project engineer role. And this one is on the other side of the United States. This is in Seattle, Washington. Our partners at Lamb Contracting, they are seeking a construction project manager to work in Seattle. So they are looking for someone to bring on board that will help them manage the administrative and the project support to facilitate completion of the projects within all of the requirements, my PM code words, scope, schedule, and budget. So honestly, these roles, the one I said before and this one now, I mean, if you are looking to be a project manager, these are the roles that are absolutely going to catapult you into that industry and give you that hands-on experience that you truly need when you're trying to be a project manager, program manager, portfolio management within any of these industries. So for this particular role for the Seattle, Washington, they are looking for someone with a bachelor's degree in either construction management, mechanical engineering, or electrical engineering. Or if you don't have that, that is perfectly fine. They will take equivalent work experience. They would like someone who has some construction concept knowledge in terms of specs, plans, contracts, proposals. That would be helpful, but it's not mandatory. So if you're at all interested, I would love to have a chat with you about it. Just put a comment in the chat, project engineer, project manager, and I will reach out to you. The next role we have is with one of our amazing partners at Texas Instruments. A lot of times when we talk about Texas Instruments in the past, we talk about Dallas, Texas. However, Texas Instruments has a phenomenal facility. It's brand new in Leahy, Utah. It is in a gorgeous location, and they want to bring as many SkillBridge interns on board as equipment technicians as they possibly can. As an equipment technician, you're going to work on the processing chips. They are a large semiconductor company globally, and they are looking for equipment technicians to perform maintenance and do repairs and do upgrades and installation. They have a cohort that is starting this October 28th, and that is in Utah. They additionally have 4 more cohorts for next year in Utah, January, April, June, and September. We do have some openings in Dallas, Texas. Those are going to be in January and April. All of those dates are listed on our website, so definitely go to hiremilitary.us and check out that job description, because that will tell you exactly when the start dates are. And finally, I am recruiting for our partners at Skillstorm for AWS Solutions Architects. This is a remote training position that rolls into a full-time on-site position. So what I mean by that is with our partners at Skillstorm, you're going to do 12 weeks of SkillBridge, where you're going to learn A+, Net+, and Sec+. So all my aspiring cybersecurity people, this is for you. You're going to get all those CompTIA certs, and then after the 12 weeks of SkillBridge, you're going to go into a paid training program that is also 12 weeks. That's where you're going to dive into the 2 AWS certifications. When you come out of all of that 24 weeks of training, you will be on contract with Skillstorm and subcontracted out to one of their clients for 2 years. This is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. It literally trains you from the ground up and places you in a job. I don't know a lot of programs out there like this. It's fantastic. You do have to be willing to relocate to the DC Metro or San Antonio area. And the one key requirement is you do have to have a top secret clearance. So they can't get a top secret for anybody. So you do have to come with one in hand from the military. So if that is of interest to you, put a comment in the chat, AWS, and we will share the information with you. And that's all I have, Lucy.
All you have, that's really quite a lot. I did see that Joshua in the chat said that he's looking for something in Colorado or Alabama. I think we may have something up on our website later on this afternoon or even tomorrow morning for Alabama. So Joshua, keep an eye out. Hopefully we should. Oh, you said that you're interested in AWS as well. We should have something that may float your boat there. I think that's about it from us today. We've got a busy week ahead. We've got an awful lot of requisitions to fill. If any of this sounds like it's of interest to you, we would love to place anybody who has joined us today into one of these internships. That's a real success in our book. So do connect with us. I've seen that we've had a couple of LinkedIn connections already. Tamika, I saw yours. Thank you so much. And from my perspective, Amber, thank you so much for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.